Morning, it's okay, still morning. So, good morning everybody. I didn't want to make the same mistake because everybody was getting confused. I think so that's the spell of those two speakers earlier. Okay. So anyway, Sajna, what a beautiful name. You know, when I spoke to her yesterday, Sajna, her husband can never get angry with her. Sajna, I can't shout, it sounds so romantic, right? But thank you, Sajna. 2002, a lot of students flocking around me. After that, I got married. And then, I'm celebrating 5 years of a wonderful married life today. I've been married for 15 years, but 5 years of them have been wonderful, so. Okay, coming to the point. When Kumaran asked me to speak on this topic, it was very, very ironical. I was telling him, winning speech, international speech contest, I won the district table topics championship, evaluation championship. What about this international speech contest? Then I reconciled to the fact that the session should be how to give a winning speech by a loser. Okay, so we've rechristened it. Anyway, but since he told me, and he's always got this habit of challenging me, he challenged me in the ovations to give a storytelling session and it went on well. And this brought out the researcher in me. And what I've done for this entire session is 2 or 3 things. I've researched the last 15 to 20 years of the International Toastmasters Speech Contest, not necessarily the first 3 spaces, but anybody who's represented or gone on to the finals, the last 9. I've gone through those videos, we've seen, and I must also thank Sachin, my mentee over here, who helped me screening out the videos. He described to me so many videos, and what I've done is, I've picked out a few of them which will help me in the speech, around 11 or 12 of them, and believe me, it's not an easy job. 60, 65, you get blanked out after some time, you don't know whether it's morning, evening, afternoon, okay, and we've done that and we've tried to bring out a good concept out of the whole thing. So I've titled my entire presentation, Casting a Spell, because each of these words, spell, talks about some common thread which runs across champions. Some common thread which runs across each and every winner in the international speech contest over the past how many ever years which I've viewed, right from 1991. Okay, so you just have to see these and we'll see. So the first point which I would like to tell you in giving any international speech contest is tell a story, make a point. Whether you ask the best speakers ever, whether it's Zig Ziglar, whether it's Les Brown, whether it's Mark Brown, any of these great speakers, names which you can just rattle off, each of them has a story to tell and has a point to make. And the story begins with a message, the story begins with a point. Unless you have a point to make, unless you have a central theme, your message, if it's not there, and so many times you have people who just rattle off something and you don't even know what message, what connection they've made. So unless there's a point to make, unless there's a central theme or a message, the story will never connect to it, isn't it? And I remember when we were in our college days, I was in St. Joseph's College of Commerce, and there used to be this, there is still, I think so, a cultural fest in Mount Carmel called Kala. And we all boys used to be so excited for those, you know, those okay, so we loved going there. We loved going there, and all of us were generally very miserly people, so we never used to take an auto and go. So we used to go in buses. So what used to happen was, as the days of convention, we used to get really excited, and on the day we used to wait right at 8 o'clock near the Brigade Road bus stand to go to Vasant Nagar, the Kala, the Mount Carmels. And when the bus used to come, as the bus is coming, all my friends so excited, jumping around and waiting for the bus so that we can reach early and have those extra glimpses or whatever. Okay, and as the bus drew near, somebody used to say, hey, this number is not the one, man, it's going somewhere else. And then we used to all get disappointed. And I just thought of this incident and I said, yes, unless you have a point, you are not going to take the audience anywhere. Unless you have the bus which is going to take you to that destination where somebody is going to make a point out of it, or you're going to give a message out of it. The message may be anything. I'm going to show a few videos. There is not going to be any connection with the audience. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to start off with a video of Evelyn Payton, one of the 1996 finalists. Just see how a simple story of a woman having a swimming pool near her house, and her brother can make for an interesting story with a fantastic point. Just look at this video.
We were all very excited on opening day. After we came out of the changing room, everyone was accounted for. But my younger brother, Pat, with a quick scan of the area, I found him standing confidently and poised on the high dive above 12 feet of water. This was a 9-year-old urban kid who until that day had only seen enough water to fill a bathtub, and we couldn't get him in there. Yet there he was, poised. I had no idea machoism started so young. To make matters worse, he jumped in. I was very concerned. Not for him, for me. I was the one who would have to explain this to our mother. Now I love my brother, but I decided right then and there, if that little boy survives, I'm gonna kill myself. But you know, there's something about having 12 feet of water over your head that suddenly gives you abilities you didn't even know you possessed. Dad started doing some kind of weird-looking donkey paddle, and he made it to the side of the pool with the lifeguard close behind. She had some pretty stern words for him, but it was nothing compared to what I had waiting for him. Afterwards, Pat looked at me with a mysterious smile on his face, and he said, "Evelyn, wasn't that a great dive?" And you know, it really was. Now I'll share this particular memory with you because to me, it symbolizes what the journey of life is all about. Pat was so excited about getting on that board, he didn't even bother to learn how to swim. He was courageous. He stepped outside his comfort zone to experience the pool of possibilities. It was a mistake, and he knew it the minute his scrawny little body slid under that water. But he took responsibility, and he had the power. He decided what it was he truly wanted, which at this point was to survive. He set a goal to get out of the water. He made an effort and achieved. Pat believed in himself and his abilities. Oh, the lifeguard had his back, but God was watching out for that little boy. He almost died that day, twice. Yet all he could talk about was the fun of the dive.
Okay, I don't know if you made sense of the video, did you? Or no? I might not start showing the videos then from next time. Basically, it was the audio not clear or?
Audio was not clear.
Audio, what do we do about it, Sachin? Huh? The cable is the problem, no? Okay, that's still manageable. What the entire episode was about, a swimming pool opening up nearby, and this boy, her brother, jumping out from the 12 feet above, and then she connects that small story to a fact that even though he jumped, he kept out of his comfort zone, he jumped from his comfort zone into a pool of possibilities. So I'm just telling you a small, simple story of a public pool opening nearby was converted into a fantastic story, and it was told. So tell a story, make a point. And I remember, one of my earliest speeches, it was on dreams, and I remember, I'll just tell you a part of the speech. It was one of those desolate evenings. I was crying bitterly since I'd lost my eyesight. I felt a hand on my shoulder. It was soft, yet strong. It was tough, yet tender. It was my father. My father looked at me and said, Rajdeep, don't keep your dreams in your eyes. They will wash away as tears. Keep them in your heart so that each heartbeat reminds you of reaching those dreams. That was a turning point in my life. I started realizing my dreams. But after a few days, I just forgot what my father had said. Till one night, there was another turning point. We had a training session conducted by a school in a camp nearby. The trainer, Mr. Kulkarni, said, tomorrow morning I'm going to show you all something incredible. The next day morning, there was something really great which happened. He told, I'm going to show you how to burn a piece of paper using a magnifying glass. We said yes. He showed us, he focused the rays of the sun on a piece of paper, and within a few minutes, the paper was alight. And he said, remember, your dreams are like that magnifying glass which focuses the rays of your hopes on the dreams of reality. If you want to set it ablaze, you have to dream. And don't just dream that way. Write it down. Write down every part of your dream. Write down what your perfect life is like. And that was the day I decided to write down every single dream of mine. Every single dream of mine. And yes, things have come to pass. I dreamt of doing my master's degree. I got my master's degree. I dreamt of being a doctorate. I got my doctorate. I dreamt of becoming a lecturer. I became a lecturer. I dreamt of owning my own house. I own my own house. I dreamt of having my own tutorial. I have my own tutorial. I dreamt of having a beautiful and obedient wife. I got a beautiful wife. The obedient wife, I'm still dreaming. See, so what I did here was, I told a story and I made a point. And one more important thing is I also involve the audience in telling them what to do. Isn't it? If you tell them what to do, write down your perfect life, write down your perfect day, it was there. And just for the twist we added something else. Okay, so remember that tell a story, make a point. I don't know if this audio problem is going to continue. We have to do something. Anything, because I want to show you 2 more videos, some beautiful videos, because they're not going to make sense. Let's try once more. I'll just play Lisa Alberts. See how she makes the point. Lisa Alberts. No, volume is the now. They're not getting the volume.
So many of us really exist without ever really experiencing life, always waiting for that bolt of lightning, always saying, tomorrow. I'll tell him that I love him tomorrow. We'll take that family trip tomorrow. What if there was no tomorrow?
Yeah, see, she made a point so beautifully, just repeating it. Every one of us, could you hear it? Yes. Every one of us will say, we'll do something tomorrow, we'll meet him tomorrow. So she repeated the point again and again. That's what I was talking about, a message. If you just say those words again, repetition is the mother of success. And that's what happened over here. And just listen to this last clipping on telling a story and making a point. And one more thing, whenever you tell a story, it's always better to personalize it. The reason why you personalize a story is, 1, it builds a connection with the audience. When I told the story of my dream, it had a connection. And it also builds credibility. Nobody can question me. Nobody can question me whether I have a wife, whether I have my own house. Okay? Nobody can question me on those aspects. So when you have a personal story, it brings about 2 important things. It brings a connection and it also brings credibility. So whenever, if you've seen any great champion, they tend to personalize their stories, and with the personalized stories, they make a point. Now, nothing illustrates this better than a person called Mark Hunter. He won the Toastmasters World Championship in 2010, but this is an earlier speech which he gave somewhere in 2002, where he reached the finals, but he couldn't win it. But an amazing speech. Just see, a simple story with a very, very important point to make. You can increase the volume a little if you are not getting it. Okay? Yeah.
I was 6 years old and I was hanging from the branch of a tree 10 feet above the ground. Help! Can someone help me? Mr. Contest Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, as a child, I did not do this very often. But on that day, I had scaled the tree to escape the amorous advances of an older woman. Sir Alan was 7. And I was not ready for commitment. In a desperate attempt to put distance in our relationship, I had scaled that tree and slipped. Hanging from the branch, I yelled again, "Help! Can someone help me?" Well, I wasn't going to jump. It was a long way down. Oh, I had dreamed of being Superman. But I wasn't stupid. I knew for certain there were no telephone boxes in my tree. So I had a choice. Let go or hang on. I decided to hang on. As children, we all do childish things like hanging around in trees. But sometimes as adults, we still do childish things like not letting go. I mean, have you ever clung to the memory of a lost love? Or longed for times which had been better? Sometimes the last thing we want to do is to live and forget. And we cling to the past well, I clung to that tree. So what happened that day? My mother, hearing the first desperate plea, ran outside, stood beneath the tree and yelled, "Help!" I looked down. From 10 feet up, she was not a good target. "Help!" she yelled again. I looked down, closed my eyes, took a deep breath, and yelled, "Dad!"
Does it make sense to that? Yeah. Brilliant piece of story. Just climbing up a tree can be used to give such a powerful message. Let go. Okay? So very, very nice. So that's telling a story, making a point. Let's move on to the second element of winning an international speech contest. That's engagement. And engagement is extremely important. It's the heart of casting a spell. That's why it's in the middle. Isn't it? S-P-E-L-L. Okay. And engagement with the audience requires 3 C's. It requires characters, it requires conflict, it requires command. Now what do you mean by conflict? See, the heart of any story is a conflict. You can see that in the Toastmaster storytelling manual also. Everybody loves a struggle, isn't it? Everybody. You heard this from the time when you were in your first grade or second grade, isn't it? Man versus man, man versus environment, man versus wife, whatever. Understand? You have so many conflicts because everybody wants to know what's the struggle, isn't it? You want to see a person overcome a struggle. And conflict builds into that. Conflict is extremely important for you to understand that we have the capability. Haven't you heard of Robinson Crusoe, Swiss Family Robinson? You studied all that, right? It was always how a conflict can build up. And that conflict, when it builds up in your speech, it creates a connect with the audience. And remember, everybody thinks that if they have a conflict in life, their conflict, their struggle is the best in the world. Nobody else. My neighbor is always peaceful. Correct? You have that assumption. But that's not the case. Your struggle is your struggle, their struggle is their struggle. So when you listen to another person's struggle, you generally come to know what that person has done to overcome that struggle. And the struggle may be internal, it may be external. Now I'm going to show you one video, then I'm going to give my personal example, then we'll come back to the other video. This is of Peter Hempistall. I just want you to see, this is a man who's struggling with his past of separating with his dad. I'll give you a very clarification on this. I just want you to observe the last few lines of what he pens down, because it's a great piece of writing. Just listen to this. Just Peter Hempster. Observe the last part. That's very, very interesting.
Unfinished business last year, and in so doing, we have a great deal of emotional baggage. I dealt with a bit of my unfinished business last year, and in so doing, threw out a great deal